Hello students, myself Manatushde, your English helpline on the go. Today I shall discuss a lesson from Vistas which is taught in CBSE curriculum of Standard 12. The lesson under discussion today is Third Level written by Jack Finney. Dear students, if you are new to my channel or if you haven't subscribed to my channel so far, kindly subscribe to it and press the bell icon for notification of every new video. Before we begin, let me throw some light on the biography of the author, which will be followed by theme of the story sequence, and recapitulation. So, dear students, let's begin. Jack Finney's first novel, Five Against the House, was published in 1954. It was made into a movie the following year. Finney's greatest success came with his science fiction novel Time and Again in 1970. It involves time travel to the past, a theme he had experimented with previously in short stories. In 1987, Finney was given World Fantasy Award for Life Achievement at the World Fantasy Convention. He lived in Mill Valley, California, and died of pneumonia and emphysema in Green Bay, California, at the age of 84. The lesson explores the science fiction genre of time travel. The author interweaves fantasy with reality in his projection of time travel. It is a story that weaves together a psychological journey into the past and present. The lesson highlights the harsh realities of war. War has irreversible consequences, thus leaving people in a state of insecurity. Charlie, the protagonist in this story, wishes to be transported to the third level, the world of Galesburg, 1894. The story also deals with theme of escapism as a psychological refuge from the grim realities of the present day world. It also about modern day problems and how common man tends to escape reality by various means. Now let's move on to story sequence. The story begins with the mention of a third level at the Grand Central Station, which in reality has only two levels. Charlie informs the entire experience to his psychiatrist friend Sam. Charlie thought that he experienced time travel and had reached somewhere in 1890s. His friend Sam informs him that he has experienced hallucination. According to Sam, in order to avoid the burden of modern life, Charlie experiences the third level of the Grand Central Station. Sam informs Charlie that his stamp collection is also an effort from his end to escape into the past. His grandfather also collected stamps, but in olden days they had not experienced consequences of war and there was peace, harmony, and security. Charlie then explains how he chose to take the subway to his apartment instead of the usual bus after a late night shift. He did this in order to save time. He describes himself as an ordinary man of 31, dressed in a tan gabardine suit and a straw hat with a fancy band. Charlie comes to the part of the incident where he entered the Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and took the stairs to the first level where one boarded trains like the 20th century. Then he went down another floor to reach the second level from where the suburban trains leave. From there, he entered an arched doorway and got lost. Once he entered the wrong lobby and reached Roosevelt Hotel, and another time in an office building which was 3 blocks away. But this time he reaches the third level. He wondered that Grand Central was expanding at a very fast pace because Grand Central is a place of exit for innumerable people. The unusual corridor he had entered into began angling left and slanting downward. However, he kept on walking. There was no one except him, and the voice of his feet echoed. He finally heard the sound of people talking from a distance. Then he took a left side and walked down the stairs again, only to reach the third level of the Grand Central. He noticed that the room was smaller. There were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. The man in the booth was also different, and the station was dim lit, for there were open flame gas lights. As the clerk calculated the fare, Charlie just had enough for one-sided journey. Just as he took out money, the clerk informed that this is not the acceptable legal tender. He ran out quickly because he did not want to go to jail. The next day, during lunch, he exchanged his $300 for old-style $200 only. The loss does not trouble him, as he thinks that in Galesburg, everything will be cheaper. But unfortunately, he could never find the corridor leading to the third level, again despite hard efforts. His wife Louisa was pretty worried when she got to know about it all, and advised him not to look for third level any further. One night, Charlie came across a first day cover. Dear students, first day cover is an envelope with a stamp on it that stamp collectors mail to themselves on the first day of its sale to mark the date. The envelopes are blank inside and are not meant to be opened. While searching for stamps, Charlie accidentally discovers a letter which bears a postmark on a faded 6-cent stamp with a picture of President Garfield. The envelope was sent on July 18, 1894 to Charlie's grandfather. The letter reads that Sam had reached the third level and had been there for 2 weeks. He asked Charlie and Louisa to never stop searching for the third level and come back. Now, dear students, let's move on to recapitulation part of the story. The story revolves around a 31-year-old man named Charlie who experienced something weird. One day after work, coming from the subways, he reached the third level of the Grand Central Station. In reality, third level does not actually exist. He shares his experience with his psychiatrist friend Sam, who thought he experienced time travel and had reached somewhere in the 1890s. Charlie went looking for the third level but failed to find it. It worried his wife Louisa. Charlie thus resorts to his stamp collection in order to distract himself, when suddenly one day he finds a letter from his friend Sam, who had gone missing recently. He encouraged Charlie and Louisa to never stop looking for it. Dear students, this story brings us to the conclusion that people find it difficult to adjust with unpleasant things of everyday life. Like any common man, Charlie too appreciates the pleasures of everyday life. He wants to go back to past because 1894 was much more peaceful, secure and quiet than the contemporary world. The insecurities and anxiety that come with war terror and stress of modern day had occupied the common man like Charlie, so much so that he wants a temporary relief from the pungent realities of life. Students, you might be recollecting the chapter Adventure of Class 11, the catastrophe theory that was applied through Professor Gaitonde of the lesson Adventure in Class 11 applies to Charlie and Sam as well in the lesson the third level. Due to catastrophic experience, of course not described in the chapter, Charlie may have escaped to Galesburg through stamp seeing. Through the catastrophic theory, Sam himself may have undergone a catastrophic experience and may have started thinking of Galesburg and went there, although psychologically only. Thus, there is a beautiful interweaving of fantasy and reality in these two stories, Adventure of Class 11 and third level of Class 12. That's all about the explanation of this lesson. Kindly write your feedback in the comment section and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so very much for watching.